Hi, this is Dr. Farley. I'm going to be going over with you information on the mitochondria. This is really an important video because when we're looking at what's wrong with someone and trying to figure out where their problem, what's wrong with their physiology, the mitochondria is a major player. I also want to be clear here too that when you see your medical doc, your allopathic doc, they treat the pathology, the disease. Mainly all they have is a drug. I mean, that's it. They've got one tool in their toolbox, that's it. Sometimes it's surgery, that's it. They do not in any way, shape, or form try to restore normal physiology. Our approach here, it doesn't matter any disease name, it matters what we find wrong when we look under the hood, what's wrong with your normal physiology. So one of the things to understand when we're looking at this, and I write down here on the bottom, these gears on the bottom, these are kind of the foundational, what I call the foundational root functional causes. Number one there is having good mitochondria. The number of mitochondria that we have inside of our cells is all dependent upon how much work that cell has to do. So the cells that do more work will have more mitochondria. So the mitochondria inside the cell is the organelle. So inside of our body, we have organs like the heart and the liver and the gastrointestinal system. And inside of our tiny little cell, we have things called organelles. And each organelle has a specific function. The mitochondria inside of our cell, the function of the mitochondria is to produce ATP energy. So it's like filling the car up with gas. If the cell has no gas, it won't work. And then gradually it will die, or it'll turn into a cancer cell, and I'll get to that in just a second. So the mitochondria plays a major role in everyone's health, and mitochondrial medicine, as they call it, some people call it mitochondrial dysfunction, has been around in the literature for a while. And in the translational science, meaning what's actually happening in the lab, it's definitely not getting to the people. So I keep on top of this, and this is one of the reasons why I want to make this specific video. So the mitochondria basically creates energy for the cell, and over a time frame, the mitochondria kicks off these things called ATP. There's numerous things that make the mitochondria work properly or not, and then there's many things that break the mitochondria down. One of the experts in this is Dr. Alex Vasquez. I've learned a lot of information from him, so I want to give him some credit. And as we look at the mitochondria, there's things that will make the mitochondria work properly or things that will break it down. Number one thing that breaks the mitochondria down, nutritional deficiencies. Number two, too much carbohydrate coming in. Yeah, you read that right. You heard that right. We all, as a society, are eating way too many carbohydrates and sugar and fructose. And you basically just bombard your mitochondria. You break the mitochondria down. You change your entire metabolics of the cell to become a cancer cell. So here's an interesting thing. When you have cancer, they give you a big glass of sugar water with radioactive dye in it, and they tell you to drink it. Now, why do they do that? Because cancer cells will uptake sugar at 50 to 100 times the rate of a normal cell. So you drink the big drink, the cells that have cancer suck it up, and boom, then we hit you with a CT scan and we say we've got cancer. So if they can diagnose cancer with giving you sugar water with radioactive dye, why don't they tell all cancer patients to remove all carbohydrates and remove all sugar? You know why? Because they're giving you misleading information that they're telling you cancer is coming from genetic causes. Only 5% of all disease, including cancer, is coming from genetics. So one of the things that will break down your mitochondria is excessive glucose. Another thing is microbes and dysbiosis. These are latent infections that sometimes come inside of us. They could be bacteria, yeast, fungus, molds, and parasites, and even like spirochetes like Lyme. They come inside of us. You may feel a little bit wiped out for a couple days, but nothing major, no acute infection, and then gradually they stay inside of you. And what do? They damage the mitochondria. There's tremendous amount of research that a lot of neurodegenerative diseases, including all the dementias, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig's disease, multiple sclerosis, tremors, all have these underlying pathologies of these microbes that are messing with the mitochondria. Another big one also is dysbiosis. Dysbiosis means that your normal flora, and there's about 6 areas in the body that have normal flora, is off. So if you don't have a good to bad guy ratio of normal good bacteria inside your body, that also can damage your mitochondria. Xenobiotics. Wow, is this a big one? This is the chemicals in the environment. This is the GMO stuff, the sprays, the pesticides, the hormones, all that stuff coming in. There's anywhere between 200 to 800 chemicals in the environment, and they have definitely been shown to be mitochondria. They destroy the mitochondria. And then lastly is oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is also connected to sustained inflammation. So high oxidative stress basically means that we don't have enough antioxidants to manage the normal amount of oxidants that are produced by the cell. So inside the cell, because the mitochondria is constantly making energy, it's a highly metabolic organelle. So what comes off of that process, like the exhaust coming out of the back of a car when it drives, the mitochondria makes a lot of oxidants. So these oxidants are free radicals, and they can damage the mitochondria if you don't have enough antioxidants. Over a time frame too, one of the major causes of cancer, the metabolic cause of cancer, is that our mitochondria starts to break down. Once the mitochondria breaks down, what happens, the mitochondria epigenetically signals back to the nucleus that, hey, I can't make energy. So what does the nucleus do? The nucleus turns on genes to replicate so it stays alive, and it turns off genes that stop replication so it doesn't die. That's a cancer cell. It also, over a time frame, shifts gears away from relying on the mitochondria to make energy and more on this process called glycolysis. Glycolysis means that the cell now uses sugar to make energy. That's why when you drink the sugar, the cancer cell loves it and sucks it up at 50 to 100 times the rate. Your mitochondria also is involved with various different metabolic things that it does, and I want to run through some of them with you. It allows you to produce energy. So when there's mitochondrial breakdown, we usually have low energy, high free radicals, and we have high sustained inflammation. Mitochondria also gets rid of bacteria, yeast, funguses for you. So it acts almost as like an antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral when the mitochondria are strong. It also can destroy infectious agents. The mitochondria also produce excessive free radicals, so you're going to need a lot of oxidative antioxidants. It also is involved in regulating blood pressure and blood sugar. So if you have weak mitochondria, you might have blood pressure issues that turn into hypertension, or blood sugar issues that could be hypoglycemia, insulin resistance, or a diabetic. How about this? It's not that you're eating too many carbohydrates is why your blood sugar is through the roof. It's that your mitochondria are sick and weak and they're breaking down. The mitochondria also can put someone into a state of sustained inflammation, and they also trigger proper cell death. So what do I mean by that is there's a certain time frame when the cell should know to die and move on. If the mitochondria is weak, the cell doesn't know when to die. That's how you can turn into a cancer process, become an autoimmune patient, and it also promotes additional inflammation. So I hope this was insightful, and there's ways that we can help rehab the mitochondria. Number one, we got to change our food. Exercise, high intensity, helps do that. And then we have to talk about the brain. We've got to talk about other cellular energetics. We've got to talk about nutrient deficiencies. And there's many things that we can do to help rehab the mitochondria. And over a time frame, one of the top 10 complaints that we see improve relatively quick in 1 to 3 weeks is, hey doc, my energy's much, much better. And also, if you're not breaking down the mitochondria by what we're setting up for you, the plan, then you're also stopping premature aging. And now the person starts to age at a normal rate. So I hope this was helpful. This again is on mitochondrial dysfunction. We'll have a sheet that goes along with this so you can understand this. And as we talk about this down the road, keep in mind too, again, that this is one of the foundational root functional causes, and the mitochondria allows you to produce energy or not. And with no energy, the cell gets sick and breaks down. With energy, the cell can get healthy and begin to start to heal itself and raise your healability. So thank you. Have a great day.